So K-9 units search for suspects, and they also search for things that regular people can't find.
Right. You can already hear them, but we have special officers, Vega and Endo, today from Southgate PD.
Officer Vega, Officer Endo.
Exactly. Not to be confused. So thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Tell us a little bit about your partnership here and how long have you been together?
So Endo's a 9-year-old German Shepherd, and we've been together for about a year and a half.
So tell us about one of Endo's biggest finds.
One of his biggest finds has been, he's also a dual trained dog, so he's a narcotic detection dog.
Okay.
So he's found up to $1 million in U.S. currency.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my
Does
gosh.
he get a percentage of that?
No, he doesn't. He's also,
Doggy treats?
he just gets his toy, his reward, and that's all he wants. That's what he
He's
searches.
excited about that. So you said he's dual trained. What
He's
is
dual
the
purpose.
other type of training he does? Or what's the other feature that he...
The apprehension and location of suspects.
Okay. So how do they find a suspect?
So a dog's best asset is his nose. So he uses his nose.
So he lives with you, or does he live with you?
He does.
Okay.
He's owned by the department, but he lives with me so we can have that bonding. He eats only twice a day and anywhere between 1.5 to 2 cups per meal.
Wow.
And that's it.
Measured.
Just because they get so excited while they're working that you don't want to work them on a full stomach.
Oh, that's true.
Because they
Yeah,
can.
we do that with Mary too.
So tell me a little bit about your day with Endo. How do you...
In the morning we get up, just like when we would go exercise, he gets up, he stretches out, he does some stretching exercises. He eats, we wait about 2 hours, so I feed him about 2 hours before we start work. He suits up, he puts on his vest and his badge, and we go to work. While we're working, what we do is we assist patrol officers if there's any situation that requires a dog deployment, then we respond. We speak to the officers prior to deployment, and if it's under our policy where we're allowed to deploy, we'll use the dog to locate a suspect, or if it's a narcotic search, we'll use the dog to search the vehicle.
That's incredible. Now, I happen to notice before we actually got all mic'd up, and you were giving commands in German.
Yes, and those commands are in German. He was born in Germany. He was trained in Germany, and then he was brought here to a kennel, and that's where I attend an academy with him, where I have to learn everything that he already knows.
How long was your training for?
It's about 6 to 8 weeks.
Right. So did he learn German faster than you? Or?
Yes, absolutely.
That's good. That's good. Boy, he's just
He was really racing around a little bit earlier because he
Yes.
felt like he was working with so many people in the room. That's pretty typical then?
Yes, usually when it's a new environment, our training, we always try to paint a different picture for the dog so he understands it, he learns it. So once he was here, when we first came in, he was a little excited.
Are there other endos in the department?
We do. We currently have, we have 2 patrol canines and 1 strictly narcotic
Oh, interesting.
canine. So we have a total of 3 right now in our department.
Can you give us some commands for Endo?
Yeah, so his command to seat, he seats there, then Platz, gets down. If he's there, and with this wire here, it might be a little difficult. Fuß, he heels always to my left side, and he seats.
Oh, what a great
Get blau.
dog.
Still, Platz, bleiben.
So what is the standard when they approach a suspect? Do they actually...
So what he does is he locates a suspect by, he picks up on their human odor.
on the scent, right?
On the
So do you
scent.
have to have something of theirs prior to be able to
No,
adjust him? Oh, you
not
don't?
this,
Okay.
not when
Okay.
it comes to patrol work, apprehension. That type of dog is a tracking dog.
Okay.
Those are used
Tracking-
but they're a
for
little
missing
different.
persons, maybe? Okay.
But this kind of dog, when he searches, say, a backyard, he's locating the strongest odor of a human in that backyard.
And so maybe perspiration?
Correct.
Okay, interesting.
So once he locates them, it's really up to the suspect what he does next, which Endo will. What he does is he goes into what's called a guard and bark. So he goes into a sit and he barks at the suspect, and that alerts myself and my teammates that he's located the suspect, and then that's when we approach.
So you release, and that's probably
So
a better
he's off
way,
the leash.
right? And that's
Yes.
probably a better way for the officers to stay safe too. if
And that's
you
the reason
allow
why
them
we
to-
use them.
Absolutely, yeah.
If it's a deployable situation, it's always best to use the K-9 to locate the suspect, because we don't know if he's armed. We don't know if he has weapons, what kind of weapons.
Right.
So we use the K-9 to minimize the potential for injury to the police officer.
Has he ever been injured on duty?
He has been injured on duty. There's have been suspects that have punched him in his muzzle, that have bit him. He's actually lost one of his front tooth from a suspect punching him in his muzzle.
Well, I hope that went down on paper and they
Oh,
went
yeah.
to jail.
Yes.
So I want to thank you both.
Thank you, Officer
for being
Vega
here,
and Officer Endo.
Yes.
Yes, and that's it for our show today. We want to thank all of our guests for being on with us, and now I think he's going to give us a little bit of a show. We want to thank Steve Lamb from the Morning Buzz, who was on with us. Also, Calvin Blakely from the East San Gabriel Valley ROP, TC, and he's the teacher for the Criminal Justice Program. We also want to thank Officers Vega and Endo, and our segment star,
Celeste.
Sierra. Yeah,
We
have
also
sponsors.
want to thank our sponsors and advertisers for making this all happen. We got Foothill Transit, BH Financial, Color
Color
Dots,
Dots,
Smile
Smile
Agency,